Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's me coming back at you again with another vid. So, some very, very, very interesting and wonderful news for Tyson Fury and maybe for the state of boxing. Tyson Fury has signed a very, very lucrative contract, 80 million pounds, which you do the conversion, the pound sterling conversion to US dollars with ESPN, which is reportedly a $145 million multi-fight deal with ESPN, which will require him to take 2 fights a year in the United States. What in the hell? I mean, what I mean by what in the hell, that's actually very, very, very good news for Tyson Fury. Okay? And the one thing I will say about this is that it can, with this type of lucrative deal, this deal does come with some strings attached. As I mentioned, it is a 2-fight deal in the United States, where Tyson Fury more likely is going to have to be based in now, even though he'll maintain a residence in the UK, whatnot. So not only that he'll be required to fight here in the United States for 2 times a year, he will also be co-promoted by Top Rank, which is obviously ran by Bob Arum. Now, this will kind of this will further complicate things between him and the tentative rematch with Deontay Wilder. Now, we all know that, and I know a UK uploader had alluded to this, is that Bob Arum and Al Heyman, they have a very, very tarnished history between the two when it comes to negotiating and fights done. Okay, now it seems like the only way those two could come together if some of these fights go to purse bid, and whoever wins the purse bid from the other, that's how the fights get made to some degree. But we know they don't like each other. We know that it's very difficult to get them onto par to do business, even though they have come together on some fights, particularly Mayweather, Pacquiao, Lomachenko, and Gary Russell. Then recently Stevenson and Bosnick. So not to say they can't come together and get these fights done, but it makes things extremely more difficult, in my opinion, right going forward. And this is pertaining to Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Now, Deontay Wilder has done a series of interviews responding to the deal. He said he's happy for Tyson. He's not going to knock him for getting this type of deal. He's very congratulatory towards him getting this type of deal. But he did seem very vague in my opinion, to whether this rematch is going to go forward or not. He said on 78's channel, shout out to 78, he did say to 78 channel when he interviewed with him, say, you know what, as far as to my knowledge, that fight's still happening. So he is giving some bit of reassurances to us fans that the fight's going to go forward. But then again, there is a pretty great possibility that it may not happen due to this complication with Top Rank and PBC, which Wilder currently fights under. Now, let's not get it twisted. PBC is not a promotional company. It's just a management brand. That's all it is. Okay? And the thing is, though, Deontay was asked about whether he should go and pursue a promotional deal like Fury and Joshua has right now. And he, says, look, I like how things are. I don't want to do that. I mean, that's his prerogative. But if he wants these lucrative deals, to me, in my opinion, that's probably the route you may have to go. You may have to sign with the promoter. I know some guys are going to come at me and may disagree with me with that, but if you want those big lucrative contracts, then you're going to have to go that direction. And you cannot, not too many guys can be like a Floyd Mayweather, where he was able to negate this whole promotional situation without being tied down to a promoter like Bob Arum and go on his own path. You know what I mean? And get lucrative contracts and get lucrative fight purses. Too many of these fighters are not really in that position to do so. All right, to get those type of deals, like Errol Spence, for example. So, again, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm very doubtful that this fight is gonna happen. And not to say it won't happen in the long run down the road, but based off, we're hoping we can get it around June or May. But I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure about this. But prove me wrong. They can't probably somehow get this done. Perhaps they could, but I mean, it seems doubtful to me at this moment. And another thing I want to point out too, this is another sign of American boxing. The United States is actually where the revenue is at. Okay, because there's, again, I have to point this out. There's many people has been going around for the last 2 years saying that the UK is where the market is at. That's where people need to go. Whereas particularly the heavyweight division, where you need to get big money for fights. Well, this is right here proof of the pudding that's not the case, because look, another proof of that shows is that Anthony Joshua is getting his biggest payday fighting a nobody in the United States. And he's virtually unknown to the American casual. And that's another video. I'll get into that. And Tyson Fury, and it also points out to me, in my opinion, due to the success of Wilder and Fury, this is the reason why Tyson Fury is getting this type of deal. Okay? That's just my opinion. Because there's no other reason why Top Rank and ESPN would agree to this such a deal. And they will require him to fight in the States for 2 times a year. To me, that's a very good thing. I'm not going to bash Tyson Fury on this. I think it's a right move for him to go. But again, it does, I'm not gonna lie, it does complicate the negotiation process between him and Deontay Wilder. In fact, Tyson Fury came out and took a shot at Deontay and Anthony Joshua and Anthony and said, look, I'm calling the shots now. I don't need you guys. Well, in his mind, he may believe that, but in reality, us fans may call him out on that, because you can't go around and fight a bunch of nobodies and think that we're not gonna accept that, especially here in the United States. So, and the UK as well. So the UK doesn't tolerate that either. So, to be fair to them, so, and to that boxing market. So, and another thing I got to point out is that Anthony Joshua is probably going to look at this, and Deontay Wilder, and they're going to look at this and say, wait a minute, how the hell is this guy getting a multi-fight deal, which I heard it can run to 5 years, worth $145 million? How come he's getting that type of deal? And Joshua's looking at that and saying, wait a minute, I'm the unified champion. I'm the number 1 guy. How the fuck I don't get a contract like that? And Deontay Wilder's probably looking at that and saying, I need to get a contract like that from Showtime and Stephen Espinoza. So, again, hats off to Tyson Fury. This changed the landscape. In fact, his contract is the second most lucrative in boxing behind Canelo Alvarez. Let me know what you guys thoughts about this. I'm out.